because Nicole Petallides, viewers met her on Monday when we were at the NASDAQ, because with us here in Chicago, Nicole, it's getting ugly out there.
It is. I also asked Kevin if it was okay if I just took his spot this one day. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to be upset that I took their spot. I did get an extra hour of sleep on Central Time this morning. So they're looking at the futures to the upside. Even though we had equities down around the world, the dollar has pulled back a little bit, but so much of this is about the Fed, right? So we're waiting to see what happens with interest rates. Obviously, not only such a tough start for December, the worst since 2010, and you
started it off, but then suddenly you've got chemical companies in Dow, DuPont, you've got financials in Citigroup, Goldman's not too far behind it, then suddenly healthcare as well.
And you make a good point, because financials, materials, energy, all down more than 20% as groups, as sectors. So bear market off their highs. I did have a meeting last night with John Kadunas over at Calamos. Now, Calamos Investments, based here in Chicago.
If you do that, you're basically assuming there is no buy the dip, that the whole rally is on stop, basically.
Yeah, and still we still have a great economy. We still have wage growth, department stores in the discount stores, and they're spending, and that's 2/3 of our economy.
On the economy front, let's talk some stocks, okay? J&J, we got to talk about it. The CEO was on with Kramer last night.
Yeah.
If you know you're in the stock, you got to watch the interview. It's very telling. They basically
the talc powder, and they have all these lawsuits looming. So the question is what the juries and judges will say. In one case in Missouri, they have to pay out $4.69 billion to women in 22 families. They are going to appeal for that. But you did have Alex Gorski on Kramer last night, really vehemently denying this, saying they've done thousands of tests, not just tests that were done by Johnson & Johnson, but independent companies doing those tests, and that they've been doing that, and that it does not contain asbestos.
So the response,
$5 billion buyback, and he said, and Gorski himself saying the stock's attractive. Quick on Lockheed Martin, you have Japan planning to spend about $10 billion on more F-35 fighters. Right, they've had a lot of pressure to do so. Selling. When does it stop? We don't really know. And the last thing that is front and center is oil, which we're seeing the lows since September of 2017, which even dipped below $48. Maybe that was an overnight. I did read that on the Bloomberg.